Okay, so here we are. This is a blog I've newly created. My WordPress multi-site installation has the More Privacy Options plugin and the PrivateFeedKeys plugin installed and enabled for all sites, but they're not configured to be in a way that they're going to be used by default because there's no privacy options and the site is public. So I have, looking at this site here in a browser that's logged in, and then here in a browser that's not logged in, it can also load the page. So the feed URL can either be found via your browser looking at the header of the site. It'll give you this feed URL. Or maybe your theme has the feed URL link in it somewhere. That will get you there too. And lastly, if you don't see it in either of those places, you can view the page source, and you'll see this link, rel equals alternate application RSS. Here is that feed URL. So we could copy this feed URL here. So this is going to be the same URL in all three places. And you can see in the browser that's logged in, you can load the page. And when you have a browser that's not logged in, you can also load the feed in both cases. So I'm now going to go turn on privacy on this blog. So I'm going to go to the dashboard and settings, privacy, and I'm going to make it blog visible only to registered users of the blog. So that's going to prevent anonymous users who aren't logged in from accessing the blog. So if I go back to the blog, we'll see if I try to access that blog with the not logged in browser, it redirects me to the my login page. If I try to go to the feed, then still it redirects me to the login page because you have to be logged in to see any content on the blog, the feed, or the main page. So if I go back, look at the feed URLs for my blog now, see that it now has this feed key parameter. So this is added by the PrivateFeedKeys plugin. And you can find this URL in all the three places I just discussed. In the header, showing up provided by your browser here by looking at the header, or in the themes link provided by your theme. Now, even though I've just clicked on this URL with a feed key in it, if I go back to my profile here, you'll see that I don't have any feed keys in use shown. So even though a key was generated, it's not showing me one in use because I'm already logged in, so it hasn't actually, the private feed key hasn't been used to authenticate a feed access. So to see one in here, I'm going to paste that URL, feed URL that includes the feed key, to my browser that is not logged into the blog, and I can load it. So now if I refresh my profile here, we'll see that I have a feed key for my testing site, and it's been accessed once. If I refresh my feed in that not logged in URL, or not logged in browser, and then go back to my logged in browser, see now it's been accessed twice. And if I revoke this key, then any former users of it will no longer be able to use it. So I can go back here, refresh in Chrome, and should get the login screen. So going back to the site, it'll now generate me a new feed key. Since I revoked my last one, there will now be a new feed key provided for the RSS feeds. So PrivateFeedKeys allows access to feeds of private blogs bypassing the authentication. And this is important for RSS readers like Google Reader, which don't support any sort of authentication. It's only good for, the feed key is only good for feeds. If I try to just go to the main page using the feed key, it's still going to redirect me to authentication. So it's quite reasonably secure. The feed key is per user, per blog, so this one feed key for a blog only provides access to that blog's feed, not to any other blogs, and it can't be used to make edits to the site or access any other parts of the site. So thanks for listening, and that's how private feed keys is used and why you may or may not be seeing them showing up in your profile. You have to access it via a browser that's not logged into your blog before it'll show up in your profile list.